Good evening, welcome all of you, Vande Mataram. So this evening we are going to discuss a great topic that is on Sankhya Yoga. So specially we'll have a brief discussion on Purusha and Prakriti. Already in different aspects, from different angles, from different point of view. At the different times, of course, we have discussed this topic in details. So maybe with respect to Savitri and also Savitri, we have discussed a series of topics on this special subject. Here we are going to specially concentrate upon the Sankhya Yoga. That we want to glorify. Of course, we want to recall the Sankhya Yoga system. So here specially we will have a greater consideration towards Purusha and Prakriti, he and she. Many times we have seen the dual terms like Brahma and Maya, Ishvara and Shakti, Purusha and Prakriti, he and she. So these are the terms, and of course we come across while discussing Purusha and Prakriti, nature and God. So now yourself we are giving special emphasis to the Sankhya Yoga system, Purusha and Prakriti. Already we know, in brief, of course, we can see Purusha, who is the creator, and after creating everything he handles, and of course he calls upon his force, that is Prakriti. And Prakriti is the executive aspect of the Purusha. She takes care of everything. That time actually Purusha becomes passive, almost in a very passive stage, behind the veil, observes, monitors, controls everything, but actually he seems to be passive. So these are the term. This is the system. In the brief system, we are going to consider in a very interesting way today. Of course, if our discussion, that will be almost a quarter on our discussion. So Purusha is the conscious being who supports all the action of the nature. So this is the very things already we have discussed. Conscious being is Purusha, who supports all the action of the nature. There is no fixed place. Already Sri Aurobindo has clarified. There is no fixed place, but at the central being, Purusha, as the central being, usually stands above the other. Stands above the other. Of course, there is no fixed place. Supports all the action of the nature. He becomes also the mental, vital, physical, and the psychic being. That's what has been clarified. It is there, taken from Sankhya Yoga system, and it is explained by Sri Aurobindo in his own terms. The word being, already we have seen psychic being, being, conscious being, and many times that we again and again we find the topic subject being. The word being is used with all kinds of significances. It is very imprecise word and can embrace everything. This is the significance of this term, the word being. Purusha has a precise significance. It is the soul or spirit. Purusha, otherwise known as the soul or spirit side of the being, that is opposed to the nature side. So that is the word being. We are Sri Aurobindo has described beautifully. There is the one Purusha. Its action is according to the position and the need of the consciousness at the time. Though briefly, very interestingly, Sri Aurobindo quotes, there is one Purusha. Its action is according to the position and the need of consciousness, both position and the need of the consciousness at the one. Again, Sri Aurobindo tries to quote upon here, it is the nature of the action above the ordinary mind. It is the nature of action above the ordinary mind, or in the cosmic consciousness, which is many-sided. Here it is the nature, and Purusha, it is one. Nature, of course, it has been quoted, it is many-sided. Cosmic consciousness, which is many-sided, action above the ordinary mind. So again, Sri Aurobindo quotes beautifully, Purusha is one being and the ordinary mental will and force are another. Purusha is one thing and the ordinary mental being, mental will and force are another. The latter, second one, the ordinary mental will and force, the second latter may be unsuccessful in their action. When you are in the Purusha consciousness, that is itself implies a state of concentration and receptivity. It actually indicates concentration and receptivity, that is actually significantly, that is Purusha consciousness. Again, Sri Aurobindo has a beautiful development from Sankhya Yoga, that beautiful observation it is there. By development of the inner will, by development of the inner will, the Purusha can become active. Development of the inner will. Otherwise, Purusha is normally inactive and passive, like these terms. It has been used by Sri Aurobindo in different aspects in Savitri, of course. Then, by the development of the inner will, this Purusha becomes active. Again, Sri Aurobindo quotes, Purusha in man is normally passive, not active. Just what I was discussing. Purusha in man is normally passive, not active. It is the Prakriti that is active. So this is the one side that has been quoted by Sri Aurobindo on Purusha. Again, after discussing Purusha, we will go for that second phase, that is actually Prakriti. Sri Aurobindo beautifully describes here upon Prakriti. There is a very beautifully observation. Prakriti is the name given to the force that works out everything in person and of course the world. So that is the executive aspects, force that works out everything. Again, it takes the form of mental, vital, psychic, physical, and other forces. So different angles from the different point, from different meanings, it has been quoted. This is the executive work forces, executive aspects or work aspect of all sorts of power and qualities, movements, forms, thoughts, sensations, feelings, and actions. All that is the result of Prakriti. That is what the requirement. All that is the result of the Prakriti. It is when the machine is moved by the forces of electricity and steam and gas. Very top. Sri Aurobindo has a beautiful or reorganization, and rather it is a beautiful comparison. Like one machine is standing, it has nothing to do. It is just a machine and instrument. When actually, of course, you do use some force, and the force, of course, different type of forces like electricity, steam, or gas. That time actually it starts operating. It is the world may be regarded as the huge or complicated machine. Like this machine, it is completely silent. After using the force like electricity, steam, or air, or of course solar or steam, then it works. It becomes functional. Like this. Now, this world may be regarded as a huge and a complicated machine worked out by the force of Prakriti. Same thing. There is a small machine works out by the force of your steam, gas, or electricity, something solar like this. So like this also, this world is a complicated and huge machine worked by the forces of the Prakriti. It is what is known in English that Prakriti. It is known as the nature, and they say everything. The world is the work of this nature or Prakriti. So initially we have quoted that is Purusha. Again, we came to know that is Prakriti. Here in the course, these are also Prakriti is the executive aspect of the Purusha. So in Savitri, it has been beautifully quoted. There are two who are one and play in many worlds. There are two who are one and the secrets of all powers. There are two who are one are the mights and rights in things. So of course, Sri Aurobindo has given a beautiful description on Purusha Prakriti and all. That is a really fantastic definition. It is a very colorful definition has been colored and of course designed by Sri Aurobindo. Beautifully, it has been quoted here. A glance can make his whole day wonderful. A word from her lips with happiness wings the hour. That is what the relation between Purusha and Prakriti. So here also, season the course. Happy inert, he lies beneath her feet. Everything he fabricates, he does everything. Still, it seems Purusha, as if the Purusha is happy inert and he lies beneath her feet. His breast he offers for her cosmic dance. That is the secret. That is the great thing. His breast he offers for her cosmic dance, of which our lives are the quivering theatre. And none would bear but his strength within. Then again, his deeds obey her heart's unspoken demands. His deeds obey her heart's unspoken demands. Passive, he bears the impacts of the world as if her touches shaping his soul and life. His journey through the days are his sun marks. He runs upon her roads. Hers is her course. Like this, everything he waits on her wheel. A supernumerary on her stage. He is driven by her sweet and dreadful face. His sanctioning name initials all her works. Everything has been materialized. Everything has been done. Everything has been given by Prakriti, of course, and done by the Prakriti. It is the executive aspect, but actually it is sanctioned, initial, controlled by the Purusha only. Now, so again, we are going to discuss little bit from this Sankhya Yoga. Then we'll come to Savitri little bit for the purpose of our conclusion here. So, Purusha and Prakriti, as described, as actually as has been quoted, taken and quoted by Sri Aurobindo here. There is a Purusha or essential being. Very interesting. There is a Purusha or essential being for each plane of the consciousness. Purusha or essential being for each plane of the consciousness, just as each has the Prakriti or nature, a special force of action and movement. So each has its Purusha, the part of the being which supports and observes and experiences and can also control the movements of the Prakriti. So what is actually, it seems to be passive, it is the creator, it is now seems staying behind the veil, but actually seems impassive also, passive also, but still then for the Prakriti, the part of being which supports number one, number two observes, number three experiences and can also control. Four things are a movement of the Prakriti. So whatever the movement of Prakriti really Prakriti does the movement, and actually Purusha has got four roles behind the veil. It is controlling, experiencing, observing and supporting. Again, Sri Aurobindo has quoted beautifully, it is Prakriti or nature that sends the impulses to act. Nature sends all kinds of forces and experience to each. So it is the executive aspect. It of course sends all kinds of forces and experience to each. It is for you as a conscious being or Purusha, as a conscious being to choose whether you shall do or not do, because it depends upon your conscious state of consciousness, how much it has been elevated. You should reject whatever you see wrong. If it is wrong, you may reject. If it is right, then you can accept true and right. So it depends upon the nature of consciousness and state of consciousness, which really you are, where you stand really. In nature, there is the higher and the lower. Higher nature, lower nature, true and false. It is there, you can find there. But what the divine wants you to do, that you should grow in the truth and higher nature. That's actually, we have seen two types of nature. One is higher nature, lower nature. One is true and false. But here in the course, what really the divine wants us to do is only the positive, the optimistic side. That is on truth and the higher nature. Reject the false and the lower nature. That is what the call of that is the need of the time. Again, Sri Aurobindo quotes beautifully while describing this Sankhya Yoga also. As you have already indulged the Prakriti of the last 10,000 lives also, many lives this has been indulged with the Prakriti. It has been accustomed to impose its own way on the Purusha. Naturally, everything has been carried out, everything has been celebrated, everything has been designed, everything is, of course, it has been settled by Prakriti for the Purusha. So sometimes that imposition is also there. To be separate is only the first step, is to separate is only to first step, and also I fancy the Purusha in you is still very mental in his will. That's what Sri Aurobindo quotes. Again, the lower Prakriti is the ordinary consciousness of man with its ignorance, desire, and bondage. That's what is the thing Sri Aurobindo quotes. Lower lower Prakriti is the only ordinary consciousness of man with its ignorance, desire, and bondage. So again, Sri Aurobindo quotes of the three things beautifully it has been done. Man turn to the divine. Actually, the requirement is that the man has to do here beautifully. He has to turn to the divine, become conscious of the divine, and unite with the divine. That is what the religion, that is what the requirement, because Prakriti or nature that acts. The divine does not compel people to do anything. You are free at every moment. Nothing can happen without the presence or the support of the divine. For nature or Prakriti only is the divine force, and that works out the thing. But the works out them according to the nature, through or with the will of each man, with its full assent of the full ignorance. So the two things which has to be done. One, to become conscious of the divine, turn united with the divine, and turn towards the divine. And finally, then it can be said that all begins to be done by the direct will of the divine. Thank you. Vande Mataram.